Welcome back to Malden's Revolution. I'm Mark Linehan. 250 years ago today, on July 3rd, 1775, Colonel Thomas Gardner died from the wound he received at the Battle of Bunker Hill on General George Washington's first full day of work as Commander-in-Chief. George Washington was voted unanimously by Congress to be the Commander-in-Chief of the new Continental Army back on June 15th, and he spent more than a week getting his affairs in order, including buying several books on topics like how to lead and manage a very big army. He managed to write a few letters, and then on June 23rd, he wrote to his wife Martha, "My dearest, as I am within a few minutes of leaving this city, I could not think of departing from it without dropping you a line." That's real. George Washington said, dropping you a line. After leaving Philadelphia on June 23rd, General George Washington arrives in Boston on July 2nd and immediately sets to work organizing the militias around Boston into the new Continental Army. These militias having just been organized a couple months ago into the new Massachusetts Army, plus New Hampshire, plus Connecticut, who only a couple weeks ago shot over 1,000 British soldiers in a couple of hours and still lost the battle. So General Washington has a lot on his plate. On July 3rd, George Washington issues his first general orders to his new command. And his first order is, unsurprisingly, an order for returns from every colonel of every regiment under his command, instructing them to inform him how many men they have, who's sick, who's wounded, and how much ammunition they have. After he issues this order, he is informed that one of his colonels, Thomas Gardner, has died. The next day, on July 4th, General Washington includes Colonel Gardner in his general orders of the day, only his second general orders as Commander-in-Chief. Colonel Gardner is to be buried tomorrow at 3 o'clock p.m., with the military honors due to so brave and gallant an officer who fought, bled, and died in the cause of his country and mankind. Kind words, but the general continued. His own regiment, except the company at Malden, to attend on this mournful occasion. So I have to think that the men and women of Malden had to have had some feelings about this. I mean, first of all, this is, according to the National Archives Founders Online database, this is the first time George Washington has mentioned Malden in writing. It's only his second day on the job, and it's to say that we can't go to our commanding officer's funeral. Now, this is where the job of a historian gets a little tricky, because we're starting to move into interpretation and speculation, and we're moving away from a recitation of facts. Because the question is this simply a reflection of military reality? After all, we are an independent company. We've known this since mid-May. We were told that we weren't really a part of the regiment unless the Commander-in-Chief said so, and George Washington is now the Commander-in-Chief. But we're already feeling a sense of strong survivor's guilt because we stood and watched one of the biggest battles of the war without directly participating in it. So on that level, this had to have felt like salt in the wound, right? Perhaps even an insult. Or is this not a big deal? Does Malden understand the assignment? Do we recognize how important the Mystic River is and we know we can't let it out of our sights? After all, the British just took Charlestown 2 weeks ago. And so maybe we know that we need to stay at our posts, right? So, was this a snub, or is it just a military necessity? What do you think? After leaving Philadelphia, whoop, that's a step.